Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Today's March 2nd, 2016. 2 days ago, I put out this video exposing the latest school shooting, another hoax by the numbers put on by our local police, our federal government, and our news media, who are controlled by Freemasons, the secret society known as Freemasonry, who throughout history have done all of their propaganda events for the sake of control by the numbers. In all of this fear-mongering by the media, it serves the agenda of the powers that be, which is a Masonic order. The reason they want us afraid of so many different things is because it makes us more easily controlled, and it makes we the people, at least some of us, look to our government, look to Big Brother to provide the solutions to problems that are really fictional, that have been created based on lies that are told in the mainstream media. In the United States of America, we teach in our history books that Adolf Hitler gave out radios so he could spread lies and misinformation. These same people who accept that message overlook how our televisions, how our radios, how our newspapers, how our magazines are used for the exact same purpose. Adolf Hitler was an actor agent created by this same Masonic order. I've done several videos on Adolf Hitler. It's another story by the numbers. When you learn this language of numerology and gematria, the truth becomes undeniable. That's why I teach it. What's annoying is how the trolls who come and attack, they all use the same labels. If you search this, I'm called a schizophrenic 100 times. Never once have I demonstrated that I'm crazy. My arguments are always logical, well-reasoned, and well-supported. But despite that, always this same attack. And the reason why is because that attack is part of our cultural programming. In 2013, when I started to share this information with people I knew, the same word was immediately brought up by people. Oh, Zach, are you going schizophrenic? These are the same people who I know that believe the lies of September 11th and the many other lies we're told in the media. So these people who want to put that label on, what they don't recognize about themselves is it's they who are crazy in the head. To believe the mainstream media, to have any faith in the mainstream media in 2016 is a sign that you are not mentally healthy, that you are not mentally right, that you don't have the intelligence that is necessary to exist in this world. You are a programmed sheeple. And for those of you who come here and say, oh, when you call the people sheeple, you're no better. Bzzz, wrong. The people of this nation need to be called out. And those of us who are awake and who speak out, as I have since 2001, we realize that the people of this nation are pretty much worthless, useless. There's no getting through to them. There's a quote from Carl Jung about how you can't convince a believer of anything because they're believers. That's what this nation is. A nation of sheeple, a nation of believers. They don't think. All they know how to do is believe and follow their programming from their corporate fascist masters. Those of you who aren't angry, it's because you don't speak out. Maybe you have knowledge, but you keep it inside. You keep it to yourself because you're afraid of the masses and what they'll say to you. You know what the word is for that? It's called cowardice. This is the nation of the enslaved and cowardly. You're listening to someone who hasn't said the national anthem since they were in 3rd grade because they recognized that as a child. I lived in a nation of sheep as a little boy. Don't compare me to anyone you know. There's no one you know that's anywhere near like me. I'm sorry, but if you guys are too arrogant to recognize I broke a code that's existed for thousands of years that no human before me has broken. I've shown how sports are fake and rigged. News is fake and rigged, and they're all rigged by the same gang, by the same numbers, and at this point, if you're denying that message, you're nothing but a sheeple. I mean, my work's all here to be witnessed. Nobody's ever done this in the history of the world. There's a reason I'm being attacked. There's a reason that my house has been sabotaged and destroyed. Do you know when that happened? Right after I revealed the hoax of the Marysville school shooting, which happened in my own backyard. Next thing I knew, I had the local police robbing my house, harassing me, pulling me over needlessly, And I even got arrested in my own front yard while mowing my lawn last spring. The sheeple, what do they say? Oh, I like the police. I think police are good. The fucking sheeple of this nation need to be wiped out like a pesticide wipes out bugs. We need another genocide in this nation. You know, there was a genocide of the native people, the sane people. We need a genocide of all these fucking losers that have been bred by the New World Order in this country that now populate it. Nation of fat, retarded, fascist-loving fucking assholes. So with that ran out of the way, let's get into the new details. They put out this image of the shooter. I saw another YouTube channel tried to address this as a hoax. Their video's not getting attacked because they come across as a moron. Their coverage of this shirt was, ooh, that looks like some kind of weird, creepy, satanic symbol. It's just like, oh God. Do you know what that is, Truth Seeker? That's the cover of the Sublime album, a band from the 90s, a very popular album cover. When I was coming up as a teenager, almost every teenager had a poster of this. Anyway, what it made me think of is this song right here, April 29th, 1992, off their self-titled album. I want you to listen to this quick soundbite from the song, and we'll talk about what it has to do with the shooter. Notice the soundbite comes right at a minute 56 in the song. Remember, 911 is the 156th prime number. The construction firm that built the World Trade Centers had name gematria of 156. The buildings came down on 9/11. Anyway, check this out. Did you hear it, Truth Seeker? Screaming 187 on a motherfucking cop. And why is that interesting? Because the shooter's name, the boy wearing this t-shirt, is James Austin Hancock. James Austin Hancock. James shot up Madison School. Hancock, one of the signers on the Declaration of Independence. As I covered all this in the first video, all the coding has to do with the founding fathers who were all Masons, and the reason they do this is because these Masonic assholes and all of their hoaxes like to give tributes to history. So James Austin Hancock has name gematria of 187. And just last week, I did a video talking about how often this number is coded into the shooters of these shooting hoaxes. Then here, less than a week later, we get another shooting with this number coded in. And just days before this, we had the shooting at the Excalibur workplace. The workplace's name gematria was 187. So since making that video, this number coded into 2 of the shootings and less than a week later. For anyone who doesn't think my work's on point, you are fucking retarded. There's no other way to explain your existence. And I don't have any problem saying that because I know I live in a nation of fucking retards and I'm trying to turn these sheeple back into people. I don't care how many feelings I hurt. I don't care how many people get angry. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here because I'm a pissed off American, sick of being lied to every day, sick of living around fucking losers who don't know about a fucking thing and demonize the truth. You should be angry too. So here's some other new information. The names of the people shot. Butler County investigators said Hancock opened fire during lunch in the cafeteria. School officials said he was on the wrestling team. I mean, just look at this reporting. Who gives a fuck if he's on the wrestling team? I'll tell you why they put that in a second. 4 students were injured. 2 were shot and 2 others suffered injuries from shrapnel. I mean, what was the guy throwing? Fucking grenades? Did he plant bombs? Did he plant 200 fucking explosives like the Columbine shooters? Another hoax? The reporting doesn't even make sense. Shrapnel doesn't say he was shooting a shotgun. According to Butler County Sheriff Richard Jones, the students shot are Cameron Smith, 15, Cooper Caffrey, 14. Caffrey was also on the wrestling team. Who gives a fuck? Officials said one of the victims was shot multiple times. The other was shot once. The 2 who were injured are Brant Murray, 14, and Catherine Doucette, 14. School officials said, I just want to pause right there. If you go back and look at the Marysville school shooting, which I exposed and got my house robbed for days later, almost all the victims were 14. The word dead equals 14. They like to code that number in these shooting hoaxes. There's been a lot of 14-year-old shooters over the years. School officials said that Smith and Cafferty remained hospitalized and they are doing very well and are in very high spirits. I'm sure their GoFundMe accounts are boosting those spirits as well. Remember Robbie Parker, right after his daughter was supposedly shot, he went on the camera like this. I'm Robbie Parker, and I have a Facebook page which you can donate to. People are fucking stupid, Truth Seeker. Anyway, look at the names of these victims. Cameron Smith, 3333, the number of the hoax. What's the next guy's name? Cooper Cafferty, CC33. Then who do they got? Brant. Who the fuck's named Brant? Brant Murray. Murray, another name with 33 gematria. Murray the big way is 96 like Freemason. This is a Freemason-sponsored hoax. Then we get Catherine Doucette. Doucette, a name with 93 gematria like propaganda. Her initials break down to 11-4 or 411. Numbers that have to do with death and assassination. It's just always the same. All of these shootings are the same. If you think this is all a coincidence, as so many people write, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come out with a new brand of clothing, and I'm going to be fucking rich. It's going to be called Coincidence Theorist, and every fucking American's going to want one. Because that's what lives in this nation. A bunch of people who think everything's a fucking coincidence. Have you ever heard of coincidence? Do you know how many fucking idiots have written that comment on my channel? It's like, have you ever heard of 1,000 videos showing the same fucking thing? The odds of that being a coincidence, the odds of me predicting every fucking sports championship, right? The odds of me showing the pattern and then shootings falling within that pattern, this is all way out of the probability of coincidence. If I was sitting at a gambling table, winning hand after hand because I knew the numbers, would you sit there and go, man, that guy's really good at coincidence? So anyway, check this out. Wrestling team, as they mentioned twice, has gematria 58, just like Freemasonry. Also, they said this was in Middletown, Ohio. It turns out it's in Madison, Ohio, but the media reported it this way. I guess there's a West Middletown Township right where Madison is. Anyway, Middletown, Ohio, wrestling team, this same gematria, 166. A number that connects to 9/11. Speaking of shooting hoaxes, remember the Columbine shooters back in 1999 said they fantasized about hijacking planes and flying them into buildings in New York City. Dylan Klebold was born on September 11th. This is what I mean when I say these shooting hoaxes are all part of an ongoing script, an ongoing narrative with clues dropped for the next hoax to come. So anyway, with all this 58, it made me want to look and see if there was any other clues about shootings in Ohio, and sure enough, there was. I didn't even remember this story, but apparently there was a shooting at a high school, February 27th, 2012, at Chardon High School in Chardon, Ohio. And this shooting took place on the 58th day of the year. Freemasonry equals 58. They call this the Chardon High School shooting, which has gematria of 139, just like Freemasonry the big way. 58 the small way, 139 the big way. This shooting took place on the 58th day of the year. Show you what else is funny about this shooting. The day it happened on was a date with the numerology as you see. Remember that this was a life lesson number date of 34. The word murder equals 34. They said the shooter's name was TJ Lane, gematria of 62 and 17, like Mason the big way, Mason the small way. They said he was 17 years old, killed the small way 17. His birth name was Thomas Michael Lane. Of course, they get a name with the 33 in there. Of course, Michael is a common name. But so often these shooters, they'll use the name Michael because of its 33 gematria. They said that Thomas Michael Lane did his killing with a 22. The name Thomas has gematria of 22. Thomas Michael Lane equals 69 and 78. He was sentenced in court March 19th, the 78th day of the year. With regards to 78, that's the speed that records spin at. And the Masons love to code these numbers that have to do with cycles and circles, such as 78 revolutions per minute. February 27th, if you take the number 22 and divide it by 7, you get the number for pi, also having to do with cycles and circles, numbers that routinely show up in shooting hoaxes again and again. The first person to die from this shooting was named Daniel Parmeter. The way his name's spelled, gematria of 79, like murder. Remember the shooter, this guy, James Austin Hancock, the small way, gematria of 79, the big way, 187, numbers that routinely show up in the coding. The next day, another person died, and another person supposedly went into fatal brain damage. His name was Russell King Jr., named gematria of 58, shooting on the 58th day of the year. The other person to die was named Demetrius Hewlin. He died February 28, 2012, a date with 42 numerology, and his name gematria is also 42. This is what I mean. Coding by the numbers. The names often sync up with the date, with the location, with tributes to the Freemasons. Again and again and again. The day he died and the other guy got permanent brain damage, a date with 62 numerology, matching Mason, matching the name of the shooter. 3517 numerology, again matching Mason, the name of the shooter, and 42 for Freemason and Demetrius. The day he died on and the other guy got his brain damaged, the 59th day of the year, which is the kill number in Jewish gematria. You can still watch this news footage. The heroes from this story are supposedly this big fat ass who looks like a police officer, Frank Hall, and the other teacher that's also supposedly a hero is Joseph Ricci, or Ricci. Both names, Hall and Ricci, have 33 gematria. Joseph Ricci matches up with the numerology of the date of the shooting. Frank Hall has the coding for death. It's all a hoax, truth seeker. Ricci, the big way, 42 like Freemason. Hoaxes by the numbers again and again. It is undeniable. In the story, they say on his Facebook page on December 30th, a date with 42 numerology, they say he gave a hint that he was going to do this shooting, and then the shooting came 59 days later, the kill number in Jewish gematria. Also, with regards to Sublime, where we began at the beginning, that song's a tribute to the Rodney King riots. Rodney King, born on 4/2. Rodney King equals 59. He was beaten on 3/3, March 3rd by the police. Police equals 33. LAPD equals 33. He would die at age 47. In all of these propaganda events that are meant to divide us, make us angry, the same numbers are coded. And again, this Ohio school shooting that just happened the other day, on a date with 47 numerology, Ohio, one of two states with a 47 gematria. Middletown gematria 47, lunchroom gematria 47. Can't say it enough. Hoaxes by the numbers. Until next time.